Hello mga ka-Easy Math, it's me again Teacher Koy of Easy Math Tutorial, and for today's video, pag-uusapan po natin ang ating Grade 8 Mathematics Module 3. Pero bago pang lahat, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you'll be updated on my videos. Okay, ang title po natin o topic po natin for our Module 3 ay Functions and Relations. And our learning competencies, we have here the learner illustrates a relation and function. The learner verifies if a given relation is a function. And the learner determines dependent and independent variables. And our objectives, at the end of the lesson, the learner expected to illustrate a relation, identify if the given relation is a function, and classify the variables as dependent or independent. For our lesson 1, representations of relations. So, relation is any set of ordered pairs. Pag sinabi po nating ordered pairs, ibig sabihin X and Y. Then, domain of the relation is the set of all first coordinate. So, sa ating coordinate, diba, meron po tayong X at saka ni Y. So, lahat ng first coordinates, ibig sabihin doon ay domain po siya. So, X and Y. So, it means yung X, diba? So, then range of the relation is the set of all second coordinates. So, X and Y, so second coordinates, it means the value of Y. Okay, so we have here, suppose a bicycle rental at Rizal Park is worth 20 pesos per hour. Your sister would like to rent the bicycle for amusement. So, ibig sabihin nito, meron pong parentahan ng bike doon sa Rizal Park, tapos 20 pesos per hour yung renta. So the question is, how much will your sister pay if she would like to use a bicycle for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours? For number 2, based on your answer in item 1, write ordered pairs in the form of time and amount. And number 3, based on your answers in item 2, what is the domain, what is the range? And for number 4, how are rental time and cost rental related to each other? Okay, so our solutions, we have this one. If the bicycle is used for 1 hour, she will pay 20 pesos. Diba? Kasi 20 pesos per hour. So, if mag-rent ka ng 2 hours, ibig sabihin, 40, diba? Kasi 20 pesos per hour. So, 2 oras. So, 20 plus 20, that's 40. Okay, then for 3 hours, she will pay 60 pesos. Okay, kasi 20 plus 20 plus 20, kasi 3 hours. And for 4 hours, she will pay 80 pesos. So, that's the answer of our question number 1. Ang first question number 2, based on your answers in item 1, write ordered pairs in the form of time and amount. So, time and amount. So, we have here 1 and 20, di ba? 2 and 40. Our time is 1, our amount is 20. Our time is 2, and our amount is 40. Our time is 3, our amount is 60. And our time is 4, and the amount is 80. So, this is the answer of question number 2. And for question number 3, based on your answers in item 2, what is the domain, what is the range? So, the domain of the relation is all, di ba? The set of all. Okay, balik tayo dito. No? Domain of the relation is the set of all first coordinates. So, if this is our ordered pairs, so it means our domain is yung set ng lahat ng first coordinates. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then the range is the set of all second, di ba, coordinates. So, 20, 40, 60, and 80. So, this is our answer for question number 3. And for question number 4, the cost of the bicycle rental depends on the rental time. Okay? The longer the rental time, the higher will be the cost of rental. So, this is the, how are rental time and cost rental related to each other. So, it means, if you rent 1 hour, so 20 pesos. Pero the more hours, di ba, na ginamit mo yung bike, so it means the more din or the bigger din the amount na babayaran mo. Okay, so representations of relations. So we have here, our relation may be represented in 5 ways. First, table, ordered pairs, mapping diagram, graph, and rule. So we have here table. The table describes clearly the behavior of the value of y as the value of x changes. Based on the illustrated example above, the bicycle rental, below is an example of the table or of a table of values represented horizontally. At the right is also the table of the values that represented vertically. So we have here yung x natin ay yung time, di ba? So, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. And then our y is yung rental po natin. So, if you rent 1 hour, our rental is 20. The rent is 20, di ba? So, 2 hours, 40. Okay, this is the horizontal table. And this one is the vertical table. Okay, then ordered pairs. Relations can also be represented by sets of ordered pairs of x and y values, inputs and outputs. We can pull pairs from the tables or graphs and use parentheses to keep them together. Basing on the table below, we can have the following ordered pairs in the form of x and y. So ordered pairs in the form of x and y, but time at saka yung amount. Okay, so we have here, okay, nasa loob po sila ng parentheses. Okay, to keep them together. So 1 and 20. Okay, 2 and 40. 3 and 60. 4 and 80. Our x, diba, 1. Our y is 20. Okay. And our x is 2. Our y is 40. Okay. Next, we have mapping diagram. A mapping shows how the elements are paired. It is like a flow chart showing the input or the domain and the output range values. An example is shown at the right illustrating the mapping diagram. This one, our x is our domain, our y is our range. So 1, okay, 20, 2 and 40, 3 and 60, 4 and 80. And graph. At the left is an example of a graphical representation of a relation. It illustrates the relationship of x, the values of x and y. So, based to sa ating example kanina, ito po siya, yung x natin ay 1, diba, 1 hour, at ang ating bayad sa renta is 20. Ito, y, 20. Kung 2 hours tayo mag-rent, so ang ating babayaran ay 40. Kung 3 hours, 60, diba? Kung 4 na oras, 80. So, this is the graph. And rule. A relation can also be expressed as a rule by describing the relationship between one variable, the independent variable x, and the other variable, the dependent variable y. From the example on a bicycle rental, it can be observed that the value of y, amount to be paid for bicycle rental, can be solved by multiplying the value of x, the number of hours the bicycle is used. So by 20 pesos or 20x. So it means 20, yan po yung y natin. Si x is ilang oras po tayo mag-rent, di ba? So from the ordered pairs 1, 20, 2, 40, 3, 60, and 480, the relationship can be expressed as this one. 20 times 1, di ba? 40, kasi 20 times 2. 60, kasi 20 times 3, and 80, because 20 times 4. Or simply as y is equal to 20 times x. So thus the equation is y is equal to 20 as x is generated. Okay, next, so we have here the exercise. A school canteen sells lunch for 45 pesos. At the right of the graph of is the graph of okay. At the right is the graph on the number of students and its corresponding received payments. Basing on the graph, answer the following. Okay, so we have here, complete the table. And letter B, draw the mapping diagram. So we have here, number of students. So 1 student, di ba? Okay, amount due is 45 pesos. Ito. The number of student, 2. Amount due is 90 pesos. Student 3, here this one. The amount due is 135 pesos. And number of students, okay, 4. The amount due is 180 pesos. So, sa ating table, 1 is ang kanyang y amount due is 45. Sa 2, the amount due is 90. And 3, amount due is 135. And 4, the amount due is 180. And draw the mapping diagram. So our domain is x, ito. And our range is y, dito. So x natin 1. Okay, sa ating range ay 45. X is 2, or the domain is 2. The range or the y is 90. X is 3, y is 135, and x is 4, y is 180. And generate the rule or the equation. So just solve this one. Okay. For lesson 2, identifying functions. Function is a special type of relation. It is a relation in which every element in the domain is mapped to exactly one element in the range. So, exactly one element in the range. Set of ordered pairs as a function. A function is a set of ordered pairs, x and y, where no two distinct pairs have the same first element. So the set of all first element x is the domain, and the set of all second elements y is the range. Take a look at the examples. Find the following relations if it is a function or not. So for number 1, we have here 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9. So this is a function. It is a function since every element in the domain, first element, corresponds to exactly one element in the range. Kasi if we go back to this one, okay, it is a relation in which every element in the domain is mapped to exactly one element sa ating range. Okay, domain to range. Our domain is this one, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Ang kanyang range is 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, and for number 2, not a function. Bakit? So we have here, it is not a function since the element negative 2 in the domain is matched with 2 elements 5 and 3 in the range. Ito po siya, di ba? Meron tayong negative 2 dito, meron tayong negative 2 dito. Tapos, yung sa range natin ay 5 and 3. So, dapat yung domain ay hindi po magpabalik-balik. Okay? Hindi po sa magdoble. Okay? A relation will not be a function if the element in the domain corresponds to 2 or more elements in the range. Okay? So, dapat isang domain saka isang range. Next is function AQ, BQ, CQ, DT. It is a function. It does not matter if the elements in the range are the same as long as the elements in the domain does not repeat. So, ibig sabihin, dapat yung domain hindi po magdoble. Pero sa range, pwede po siyang magdoble. Di ba? So, like this one, AQ, BQ, CQ. Di ba? Yung range natin ay Q. Tapos yung domain niya ay A, B, C. Okay. So, that's it. So, mapping diagrams. A mapping diagram consists of two parallel columns. The first column represents the domain of the function, and the other column is the range. Lines or arrows are drawn from the domain to range to represent the relation between any two elements. So, this one. This is our domain. This is our range. Okay. So, student Ninya at the number 001. Student Charisse at the number 023. Student Sam at the number 167. So 1-to-1 mapping. So the example at the left is a 1-to-1 mapping where each element of the range is paired with exactly one element of the domain. So 1-to-1 mapping. So this is a function, 1-to-1 mapping. And next is the many-to-one mapping. We have here the student, we have here the class rank. Okay, Celine, rank 1. Colleen, Amber, and Noah, they are rank 3. So the example at the left shows a many-to-one mapping where any two or more elements in the domain are mapped to the same element in the range. So many-to-one mapping, this is a function. Okay, many-to-one. Okay, then for our next is we have what's this one? One-to-many mapping. Teacher, Joy, di ba? Ang domain, student, John, Vince, Ellie, and Bradix. So the example at the left shows a one-to-many mapping where the first element of the domain has mapped with more than one element in the range. So one-to-many mapping is not a function. Okay, kasi one-to-many kasi isa yung domain, tapos yung ating range ay many, di ba? So one-to-many. So hindi po siya function. Okay. So the vertical line test, if every vertical line intersects the graph not more than once, the graph represents function. So we have this one example. Tell whether the following graphs are functions or not. It is a function because the vertical line intersects with the graph only once. This one. Okay. Then, for number 2, not a function because the vertical line intersects with the graph twice. Okay, this one. And number 3 is not a function because the vertical line intersects with the graph twice again. Okay. Then, functions represented by table or of values. To determine if a given table of values is a function or not, the values of x and y coordinates must be examined. A given table of values is a function if every x has exactly one corresponding y. So, for example, tell whether the following table or values are functions or not. For number 1, it is not a function since the domain x coordinates 2, with this one, has been matched with 2 different values y, which 3 and 0. Kaya yung x natin, diba, may dalawang 2 po tayo. So it means not a function kasi dapat po isang domain match po ng isang range. Okay? So that's it. And for number 2, it is a function since all values of x and x has exactly one corresponding values of y. Okay. Exactly one corresponding values of y. So by the way, for number 1, this is a one to many. Diba? One to many. Isa lang yung 2, tsaka yung range ay 3 and 0. Okay, so equation, function or not. An equation is function if y can be expressed in terms of x and there is only one values. Okay, so tell whether the following equations are functions or not. We have 3x plus y is equal to 4. Solution, 3x plus y is equal to 4. This one, 3x plus, okay, negative 3x. Okay, add both sides by addition property of equality, add both sides negative 3x. So magiging y is equal to 4 minus 3x or y is equal to negative 3x plus 4. The equation is a function since it can be written in a form of y is equal to negative 3x plus 4. X squared plus y squared is equal to 4. Solution, we have this one. And we arrive to this one. Y is equal to plus and minus square root of 4 minus x squared. So, get the square root of the both sides. The answer is this one. Nagiging ganito. So, this is not a function as shown above. If x is equal to 0, then the values of y are 2 and negative 2. May dalawang values ni y, di ba? Kung 0 si x, may dalawang values si y. So, domain si x, di ba? 0. Tapos, y is range, may dalawang values. So, it means 1 to many. Yung mapping natin, so it means it is not a function. So, we have here the exercise. Determine whether the following is a function or not. Write the function if it is a function and not a function if it is a write not a function if it is not. So for number 1, function or not. So this is a function. Diba? 1-to-1 relationship. Okay. For number 2, this is not a function kasi ito, yung domain natin, negative 5. Diba? Match ng dalawang value ng y sa ating range, 3 and positive 5. Okay. So then, try to answer number 4 and number 5 and also number 3. And we have here the graph. Okay, so lesson 3, dependent and independent variables. Dependent variable depends on the independent variables. Ibig sabihin, dependent. So, nakadepende ka doon sa independent. Okay, independent variables controls the dependent variables. Example, classify the variables as dependent and independent. Time and salary. Independent is yung time. Dependent, salary. Di ba? Bakit? Kasi, yung time, independent, kung 0 yung work mo, or kung hindi ka magtatrabaho, 0 yung workforce mo, ibig sabihin, wala kang salary, di ba? So, si salary, magdepende kung ilang oras ka nagtatrabaho. If you work 1 hour, then you have the salary. Example, 50 pesos per hour. So, 1 hour, your salary is 50. Kung 2 hours, your salary is 100. So, it means, yung salary magdepende kung ilang oras yung trabaho mo. Okay. Number of workers and time spent in working. Independent is number of workers. Dependent is time spent in working. Bakit? Kasi, kung isa lang yung magtatrabaho, for sure, yung time spent in working is mas matagal, di ba? If marami yung workers, then mas madali yung trabaho. Okay. In an equation where y is expressed in terms of x, the variable x is considered the independent variable because any value could be assigned to it. However, the variable y is the dependent variable because its value depends on the value of x. So, x is our independent variable and y is our dependent variable. Okay, so we have here the example. The salary of a farmer y depends on the number of hours x that the farmer works. The farmer's salary is 50 pesos per hour. So, we can write this equation, y is equal to 50x. Okay, so, si x is our number of hours. Diba? So, magdepende kasi si y kung magkano yung value ni x. Kung ang value ni x ay 1, so, 50 times 1, so y is 50. Kung ang value ni x is 2, so 50 times 2 is 100, si y. Okay. Okay, then, our exercise, try to answer this one. You have this one in your module. And our assessment. Okay, read each item carefully. Write the letter of the correct answer on your answer sheet. Show your solution on a separate sheet of paper. It is a set of all second coordinates. Diba? Yung first is domain, yung second is range. So the answer is letter C, range. Okay, so try to answer the following items. And once again, it's my teacher Koy of Easy Math Tutorial. Thanks for watching and see you on my next video.